And we are live. Welcome, everyone, to episode 8 of Cruising the Planet. I am joined here, your host, as always, Ethan Miller.
Colleen Hughes.
Jay Crudicell.
And I, just before we started, managed to mess up the camera.
He broke
It's
it.
broken.
That's what we're saying.
The last
he broke
picture
it.
was like a Earl Sweatshirt Some Rap Song album cover.
I mean, I wish y'all could have seen it. It was
It was
some
funny.
blurry thing.
It was
They
really
still
funny.
can, technically. We can...
There's the back of
Pop
your
it
head.
On. Yes. You gotta show it.
That's
yeah,
it.
For those
Yeah,
listening to
look
the
at that.
podcast,
That's
it's
all they
just the
can
back
see
of
right
Ethan's
now.
head.
It's like
a little blurry.
It's
I don't
like
know what
Earl
happened.
Sweatshirt.
I didn't. I did what I was supposed to.
Except you kicked the cord.
Why is it
You're
still...
never supposed... Don't cross your streams. Never kick the cord.
Well, anyways, I can fix that later. But let's get into the show.
That
All
was
right.
a nice sound.
So, what?
The metal sound.
Just a
you know?
nice ASMR?
Yeah.
Is that your ASMR like bit? Stop.
What?
We're not an
can't do
ASMR
that.
thing. It's not us. So,
Yes.
y'all are back.
Yeah.
How's it going?
Finally on an episode. Again,
Yay.
since for the new semester.
And for this
Oh, yeah,
semester,
it's
it
been a little
should be.
bit
I
since I
should
was
be
here.
somewhat of a regular.
More consistent, you said.
Ooh.
Hopefully, yes.
That's
So,
going to be fun.
Regular item
Yeah.
on the menu.
Something
I'm
like that.
sorry.
And Cole, you'll be
Yeah.
more consistent as well.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
I do have a longer class
Right.
right before this, so we'll see, which I have a client in, so they could also dictate that.
Oh no.
But hopefully I'll be more regular. Yes.
But like you have a client, which is the whole point of
Yeah.
your degree.
I have I have 2 clients this semester, different classes plus work.
And unfortunately,
Yay.
your regular, our middle mic. You can't see it now that I've ruined the camera, but Brendan will not be joining us.
Unfortunate.
Unfortunately,
Very unfortunate.
we've had a new schedule conflict pop up with him, which we are trying to work out.
That is how it is sometimes with college students.
But
is
that just be how it is.
classes.
College is totally a scam.
We just
Yeah.
went right into it, didn't we?
But like we're all falling for it then.
Yes. Well, it's not that it's like a
Okay.
scam we can avoid.
What? I don't know what you mean by scam, because
We don't
a
really-
college degree will get you more money in life.
It's a cartel. They all rise their prices up,
Oh, I see.
so we don't really have a choice because this is a cheap school. and
There's
it's
no
Yeah,
like
it's still
there's no
really
true
expensive.
competition is
Yeah.
what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean there's competition, but it's
Not in a
it's like a pseudo cartel. Like they're not cartelling, where they're all rising their prices all up at once. There's still competition, but it's like like airport competition. No one else
Mhm.
can break into the college like atmosphere, so they're like, oh, let's just all raise our prices because who's
Yeah.
gonna stop us?
So
Yeah.
would you say that you're for higher education being free for everyone?
Not free, but cheaper.
Cheaper.
Not
Mhm.
free, but cheaper.
I think we should allow be more
I think-
socially open.
I think it should either be free or higher quality.
I think we should go the other way around.
Wouldn't it already be higher quality? though?
No.
Lower the accessibility by socially allowing associate degrees or trade schools back into society.
I'm
Oh,
fine with that.
I am completely okay with that.
Cause like, I honestly am not the best car mechanic. I can get it done in a weekend, but I don't have a whole weekend right now. I work half of my weekend.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I'm going to need somebody with a mechanical certificate, I guess it would be, or like some sort of trade school
Yeah,
training.
some sort of trade school, yeah.
And then when you lock yourself out of your house, you need locksmiths.
Yeah, college
there
isn't
are-
for everyone. Higher education isn't for everyone. Even if there is an education beyond high school,
Mm-hmm.
I think trade school is a good opportunity for a lot
That's
of people.
$20 an hour for
Yeah.
any like technician, associate's level degree already.
It's a good living. Just people and society have made it not.
I think
Acceptable.
the problem is the pressure on parents to be like, there's no in between. It's all or nothing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I personally have felt that level of pressure on like
I mean,
you
I
got to
have-
be running 100% all the time, and it wore me out last semester.
I know, like, I have friends who, like, they're still dependent on their parents because they're still, like, they're my friends from high school, and they don't go
Mhm.
to college, and they're still dependent on their parents or dependent on their friends to like house them and whatnot, but they're moving up.
Mhm.
They don't have a degree. You don't really need a degree for college. I mean,
Mm.
it's nice. It's nice, but
It gets you at a higher income level later in life,
Yeah, and definitely.
but you also have to pay back everything
Well,
that you
So
lent
like
out.
we're talking about the loan situation, right?
mhm.
Yeah.
So cool. It's okay. Hey, buddy. Look at me.
Oh,
You
yeah.
You
Yeah.
remember what I gave you earlier? A little pocket of happiness?
Yeah, I
Go
think there's maybe a crumb in there.
Oh, no.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm reining it in. Okay. I'm graduating.
So I
so
definitely
it's piling.
don't foresee loan. I have gone in debt. I have been in $10,000 of debt before. It cost me a year of my life working night shift with minimum interaction. I interacted with one person every Thursday.
That seems
That
really
was-
lonely.
That was awful,
Yeah.
honestly. And then I would come into town to see my girlfriend every other week.
Okay, I was about to say, was that before the GF?
That
or-
was it. That was all of my social interactions. And then
That's
I
rough.
learned about Australia's like media, and so I would like be on their schedule. So I would be downloading podcasts at like midnight our time, at like lunch when it dropped over there, and I was just involved in everything Australia because they were
Did you
awake.
start to get the accent?
No, not at all,
Oh.
because I still like lived in Texas.
Yeah, no, I just.
But knowing how much debt can cost you just in your like day to day, I am definitely fearful of it, and I have
Yeah.
no loans because of it. It has put me in a situation where I work 2 jobs, but that's I don't know if I would say what I'm doing is better, just because I have like y'all have seen my schedule, yes?
Yes.
How I like pull
Yeah.
it up and it's just like way too much.
Yeah.
I'm
You
actually
have
free this
less
semester.
This semester than you did last semester.
I'm actually
so good
more
on you for
free this
that.
semester.
My semester's pretty weird this year. I got like Mondays and Wednesdays. I just have like 4 hours of just jack squat nothing.
Just nothing to do.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
Not
like
even like here, or you got just no class.
like no class, not here. I
Huh.
mean, I count work and class
Oh, yeah.
as like the same entity.
Yeah,
So,
because they're
like-
both on campus.
Yeah.
So like I have like 4 hours that are just like in between like class and work
Mm-hmm.
where I'm doing nothing. I'll just go home. Not today. I was like especially tired, so I just like
Yeah.
slept.
Ooh, that's good.
It's real good.
Naps.
It's
What a
it's-
blessing.
Yes. Yes.
Speaking
Truly.
of blessings,
Okay.
Mm.
I have come across a recent debacle
Oh.
that I need your help solving.
Okay.
Y'all do fast food, yeah?
Yeah.
No one's on a
course.
crazy health kick from January.
I don't do health.
No, I mean,
Oh no.
I
I
don't do
got-
health.
I got things I gotta lose weight for, but not
Lose
happening right
weight.
now.
Nah, not
So-
this guy. I'm a diet 50.
Diet 50.
Yeah, I'm a die at 50.
Oh,
Well, I mean,
diet 50.
At least you
die
maybe,
at.
All right, Jake,
maybe
chill
you
out.
won't like.
What I'm getting
Like
at is a
tomato.
much lighter topic.
Okay.
Bag fries.
Yeah.
Wait, bad fries?
Bag. B-A-G. Bag.
Like bag of
Like,
fries.
like stuff you like throw in the oven.
No.
No.
The bottom of the bag fries?
Yes.
Ooh.
Okay.
It's the person who hands out the food. Gets the bag.
Okay. No.
Okay.
It goes even more fundamental than that. So everyone who isn't familiar, when you go to Walmart, Wendy's, Burger King, wherever, and you order French fries, you order large French fries because you're a pig.
Yep.
And they put them in the bag, and you go and you eat your fries, you eat your burger, and then you look down, and there are what everyone calls bag fries.
Mm.
Those extras? Question mark? Because think about it this way. I was thinking about this last time I got fries, just like a month ago.
Isn't that just like salt and breading?
No, like it's a whole fry.
Oh, okay.
It's a complete French fry down there.
Okay.
Jake. But what I'm getting at is it a blessing or is it a waste?
Why would it be a waste?
Because it obviously fell out of your box of fries already,
Oh, okay.
and
I
now
see
it's
what you're talking
cold.
about.
Because you don't get to
You
that.
eat it.
No, here's my solution to that. I always check the bag and get any bag fries
Yeah.
before, so they're still hot.
You know,
See,
I
but
do
now
that.
now they've given my fast food, my convenience, my upcharged medium drink to large drink, and then they're gonna go and throw my fries in the bottom of the bag.
Yeah.
You see?
Mhm.
You see where I'm getting at?
But are they throwing them in the bottom of the bag, or are they just falling out while in transport from them to you?
Then they need to get a bigger container.
Or they need to get
or
like
a
metal
closed-top
boxes.
container?
No, Jake, that's too far.
Let's.
Metal box free fries.
That is an ultimate solution.
That would charge so much unless you had to bring your metal box back, and that would be actually more
Oh.
eco-friendly, wouldn't it?
That would be eco-friendly. However, still, same problem could arise. What happens when they overfill and then they fall out?
No,
Is
it's
that
like
you
a
lit it.
treasure chest.
You lit it.
You lit it.
You know what I'm talking
Yes.
about?
Okay.
Like, you know how
Now,
chicken nuggets are.
how do they pack them in? Because then we're talking about a situation of efficiency. If they just throw them in randomly off of like the scoop thing,
yeah.
they're gonna go all over the place, and now they're wasting my space. Whereas with that shimmy like container, it all slides in straight.
Who says you can't have like a metal case that's like shaped like a fry case
Yeah.
with like an attachable lid on the side?
So now, but then that makes it less fries can fit in there, because the whole reason the bag fries happened is because too many fries were able to like Jenga their way on top.
Little holes on top of the lid that fit
Yeah,
the
I don't-
fries perfectly.
I don't think there would be a good enough version of a container that would
So
help.
if we can't solve it on a container issue, we have to solve it on a delivery method.
Okay.
Or we solve it on a fundamental level of, are bag fries a blessing or a curse? Because if we're okay with them, this isn't a problem.
I'm fine with them personally.
I'm not okay with them though,
Why?
Okay.
because they've wasted my French fry.
But you just eat it after.
No, like cold bread is
It's-
bad.
It's potato.
It's
Potato
still bread.
rolls.
It's still like
Potato
breaded.
rolls exist. I'm allowed to call like French fries bread.
Okay.
Because here's my argument for that.
Oh no.
All right? No, it's quick and easy. It's a simple rule. You cannot microwave bread that has been in the refrigerator. It is bad. You cannot microwave French fries after they've been in the refrigerator. It is bad. So,
I mean,
French fries are bread.
I don't know if it works like that specifically, but sure, why not?
Like this
Okay.
is a tested rule. This is like a fundamental law of the universe. Like we've measured gravity. There's a constant. We've measured the speed of light. We've measured French fry.
I mean, that's
microwave.
one variable. There's multiple variables to everything.
I will accept that. Now, what were you saying about French fries and being a waste?
And being what?
A waste.
So like the fry falls out into the
Yeah.
bottom of the bag.
Yeah.
Do I have to like now double? Are you hearing the ghost again?
Yes. I'm not, but
No, I think there's actually someone.
All right, everyone, ghost watch. Ghost watch. Jake, check.
okay.
Ghost watch. Ghost watch.
Are we?
Ghost watch.
We need to make up a jingle.
We need to make a ton of hotkeys now that we have access to them, and I can just run those bad boys up.
Yes. And
Probably a ghost because no one's out there.
no, really, seriously.
Well,
No,
there
it's
was a
out there.
class that was trying to get in right before we started,
Oh, maybe that's it.
so I'm assuming.
Maybe
it's
I'm
that.
hearing KXTR or something.
Wait, you're using that headphones?
Yeah.
There is a minor delay on that one,
Okay.
so you could be hearing any number of things actually.
All right.
You
Definitely
are
thought I heard
you
like
are
Taylor
untethered
something.
from audio reality, unfortunately. Sorry, bud. So,
Yes.
to me, bag fries are a waste. The creaking noise?
No,
Okay, I heard a creaking noise then.
You're going to hear it soon.
I heard people. So
All right. Bird Box. I was recently watching
Why
a
would-
review of Bird Box.
Oh.
I do think it is an Eldritch horror like you were talking about, but it's bad
Oh.
movie.
I liked it,
I haven't seen
but
it.
I just really like Sandra Bullock.
That's fair. That's fair. I liked the relationship and all that they were like building. My problem is like the journey wasn't compelling whatsoever, and it was so uncompelling that they realized it and did a bunch of flashback edits.
All I know about it is I've had people tell me it's a really, really good film, and people have told me it's garbage. So
It's very polarizing.
it's incredibly polarizing. So I've seen it's like a super mixed reception from
Yeah.
my perspective personally.
I am not gonna go plan to see it. I'm not gonna not plan to see it. I'm very neutral on the movie.
Yeah.
It turns out.
Mm.
So bag fries,
Bag fries.
Bag fries.
I consider them a waste because they make me work harder for the food that's supposed to be easy, for the French fries that are supposed to be my baby comfort. Y'all
I-
think that they're extras.
I don't even think they're extras. Like, I take my stuff out, I look in the bag, oh, there's a couple fries, take them, eat them before I unwrap my burger.
So Jake's
Not my
already where
burger.
I am headed,
I
Yeah.
think
which is
it's
at the
a
end
little,
of madness.
I think it's a little like surprise. Like, ooh, I hope there's some fries in the bottom of the bag now, because I still a little hungry, but like I wouldn't order a whole new large fry, but I could take a few more.
Well, then just order 2 small fries and hide one from yourself.
No, but see, I don't have
But
that
then,
power
like,
of will.
she'd know
Oh,
where
the
it's hidden.
willpower. Got you.
Here's the thing.
That's
like,
another problem.
This is what
yeah.
you gotta do. You gotta, like, invent a machine that'll, like, wipe your memory. Like, you take it.
I already
you take
have
one.
enough memory loss issues.
All right, then just do that.
What are you getting at, Jake?
Well, you eat your small fry, and then you take your other fry, hide it, forget it, and then find it.
See, but I've touched my small fry. Why would I then put it, like my primal monkey dum-dum brain,
Okay.
why would I put it down?
I'm trying
when
to
I
solve
can,
Cole's problem.
When I
though.
can, but I think we have the same problem, which is, like, nod with me, Cole, yeah? Like, why put it down when you can just eat all of it?
Yeah.
You sinner.
You said
You sinner. Why put them down when I
you
can
just eat it.
live deliciously? That has been blowing up on let's talk about Twitter for a second.
Oh boy.
Horror Twitter has been blown up recently over a very fun image that was sent to somebody.
Oh no.
They received a text that said, "Would you like to live deliciously?"
Oh.
All the person was really asking was, "Hey, would you like to go out to eat?" But now we have all of the art, and it's glorious.
Is it like a cannibalism thing?
It's temptation
Oh.
art.
Oh no.
It's all of the devil personifications and like demon OCs. Like, would you like to live deliciously?
Ah.
It's so
Okay.
good.
I
It's so
see.
nice.
I like it.
So
It's a good.
that's my little horror Twitter moment. Anyone else have cool Twitter moments or social media?
All my Twitter's
interactions?
trash, and that's exactly how I want it to
Yeah,
be.
Jake, I know.
Yeah.
Eh.
None of you are allowed to follow my Twitter.
I follow your Twitter.
You can follow
Oh.
it.
You're not gonna throw it up here.
I'm not
not-
allowed to.
I'm not
follow
gonna.
Twitter.
Yeah, she'd hate it.
You wouldn't hate it. You'd just be like, eh.
I probably
Like,
wouldn't
really, Jake?
understand it. Here's the thing. I don't do Twitter, and
Oh,
yes, I
yeah.
have some social media mostly for my job, but I don't really understand any of the content on there because
It's multiple-
I
it's
wasn't raised
multiple
the same way as
layers.
most people.
It's multiple like layers.
I wouldn't
of-
even. Honestly, I wouldn't even say like yours specifically or Twitter in general.
I don't know. I wouldn't even say mine specifically. I'm just saying like it's layers of like cultures being kind of flipped on their head
Yeah.
and then being flipped back over. So it's
Yeah.
like it's kind of hard
It's
to like.
cyclical almost because
Yeah.
you have these like little generational loops.
But the generations happen within months.
Yeah.
So like. Yeah, it's weird.
It's
And like people get nostalgic over like literally like 6 months ago.
Oh yeah,
You know,
they were. Oh man.
which is.
And then the hot takes. Whenever a new video game is released, it's Twitter's just no
Oh, I
fun for the
love-
day.
I love getting into hot takes on Twitter.
Nah,
I love it.
it's
I
not fun.
That's fine for you. For me, I think it's really fun
You know that's
being-
very fair of you, Jake.
being very mad at stupid, pointless crap that doesn't
Like
matter.
Pokemon.
Oh, absolutely.
Do you want to talk a little bit
I
about
don't
the
want to
heat?
talk about Pokemon. I've been burnt out on
It,
talking about.
exactly though. It
No.
burnt me out on Pokemon of all things.
No, it does. I do get burnt out over time. That's why I gotta find new stuff to bitch about.
But
You know. Wait, am I? Do we need to cut
no,
that?
you're good.
Okay.
Nah, it's fine.
Okay.
Should be.
More importantly, why do we have to like get burnt out and then be like, "Oh, I'm dead. This series is dead to me. I'm moving on."
I mean, that's just kind
I
of
think
how
that's-
series. Unless you're like a fanatic and you're like really into one specific series, like that's just kind of how people are. People get bored of stuff.
It's what's happened now that we have the internet.
Oh,
to be
absolutely,
honest.
absolutely. Like our attention spans are completely shot.
Our need for an instant gratification and a binge,
Oh,
especially
100%.
the creation of streaming videos and media online has created this binging,
I have kept away
and
from streaming.
that causes burnout really quick.
I've kept away from streaming. I like when I do something, I don't like to like pay monthly to have access to everything. I want to pay once and have access to that one thing forever. and not have to worry about paying,
Mm.
which is less. It's a little bit more expensive and it's a little bit less convenient, but that's just how I've always done it. Like I collect CDs. I mean, video games. I have a huge digital Steam library. I'm starting to collect DVDs now. Yeah.
Very much a man of digital media.
Yes.
I am all about the web of things and the cloud-based sources and the
I'm
streaming.
very much about the freeing of the code.
My placement being, I ain't got time for where all you normies work to like hang out and live under conventions. So I have to stream stuff like 2 hours here, 4 minutes here. That's why I listen to podcasts.
Yeah.
I'm in that like third wave entertainment group of like I have enough time for a video while I eat and a video right before bed, like a grandpa.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't even have my before bed video and I'm grumpy. Grumpy.
Oh God.
So, do we want to move on to another bit?
Sure,
Yeah.
let's do that.
We had an event happen a little bit earlier this week, Cole, that Jake, I want your understanding on.
Okay. I don't know the event, but okay.
Cole is doing some pre-production for a new show that we'll have more information on later. And in an email chain, we were trying to come up with a pretty efficient
yeah.
way to formally refer to someone in an email. You use conventional was Mr., Miss, or Mrs.
Okay.
What if they are non-binary or non-conforming to gender standards, but you still need to give them an email introduction? You can't non-formalize it. That would be counter to the whole point. Cole is going to share her solution, and then I'm going to share my solution.
I'm
to
just
the
going to
situation.
preface this by saying I have absolutely no idea how to solve a problem like that.
Okay.
You
That-
just have to
okay.
hear us out as a third party.
Okay.
Cole.
So I did look some up because I was curious if that had already been addressed, as like non-binary gender identities have just started getting some recognition. And the two I really found that I liked was mix, which is MX dot, and that's how you would write that. And then IND, which just means individual. So
Like IND dot?
yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so you'd put IND dot and then the person's name that they should go by. And I ended up choosing mix just because it was more like the already set normalized ones. I
Okay.
guess. Yeah.
And I saw an opportunity to
be contrarian?
to revitalize a classic. Well, yes, be contrarian, but like let's get past that.
Okay.
To revitalize a classic and use Esquire.
Okay, what does Esquire actually mean?
I have no idea.
Well, let's look it up right here on the show.
I'm looking it up, y'all.
What do you think
Discourse,
about
Jake. Give us
Esquire?
thoughts.
I have a feeling like within this context, I feel personally Esquire has masculine connotations, so
Which-
I don't.
Which is something non-binary people, a lot of them do tend to go more masculine
Okay.
if they were assigned female at birth.
Okay. But what if they were assigned male at birth?
Then
Would they
usually
go
go more feminine.
Okay.
Mhm.
Nuts.
Okay.
What?
Okay.
Oh, nuts.
I'm probably gonna have to give it to Cole. I am sorry, Ethan, but
So the historical is normally a young nobleman who, in training for knighthood, acted as an attendant to a knight, so a squire. However, there is also a landed proprietor or country squire,
Okay.
as in an assistant, perhaps sort of the premature version of, or the proto of secretary of sorts.
yeah.
Okay. So maybe so now we're getting into whether we should address them differently if they're of a different position.
Yeah, this one is
And-
more based on the position they've earned
Right.
than their gender or whatever conforming
Right.
thing used by traditionalist
It's like
society.
using doctor.
This is old traditional society.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. Why did we switch over from using position to using gender?
Well, there was the whole like death of land ownership being important
Mm-hmm.
during the after the agricultural revolution into the industrial.
Yeah.
And once that hit, so like the whole society was entirely determined for all of human life by how much land you owned, because that's how much food you could grow. And that's really important because people get hungry,
Yeah.
and hungry people not good at work.
no.
Yeah.
But if you owned a lot of land, you could have a bunch of people come onto your land and work it for you, and like that's how kingdoms were created.
Yeah.
Grain kingdoms is basically like first level feudalism, right?
Just
That's
whoever
just-
has the land has the food.
Exactly.
you
And whoever
gave
has the food, like, you work for me, I give
so
you food.
land was truly power.
So you
Yes.
gave status by
Land
using
ownership.
land ownership and using that first part before the name.
Yes. And so it was
So now we're giving
so
status
there was-
for gender.
there was hierarchy in it
Yes.
based on how much land you owned. The king owned it all, and then he would portion parts of his land to people to rule over it. You know, and it ran its way down. King and queen were at the top. Then they would have the royal court, and underneath them were not Dutch, but dukes, duchesses, barons, baroness, all of that sort of thing. The lower level families, where you have all your cool gothic stories are being told,
Uh-huh.
and people who were of upper middle class or lower high class, but still had drama. Interesting things could happen there. Then we move into the Industrial Revolution. Land meant nothing. It was useless. Urbanization hit. Boom. There is no more reason for us to be worried about how much land you own because you're not producing the cool stuff like light bulbs. So we don't care. Also, we can just like have robots cut the grass for us.
Yeah.
So we don't need people working the land. You can work your own land. I'm going to go make a bicycle shop and money. And they were like, no, wait, no, but my land, now I have to cut my own grass. And there was a lot of, as industrialization was happening in first world countries, second world countries were getting hit with revolutions and such because there was the disparage in technology and innovation. And the whole concept of, like, royalty being attached to land ownership, you didn't want to immediately put it on. It stopped being about the family and the land and the history, and it became about the innovation, the individual. The humanist movement in art popped up about this recently. I know that on our sister station 90.5, we did the Renoir, The Body and the Senses tickets. That was during the humanist period, showing off the whole concepts of the nudes.
I did that underwriting spot. I had to say the nudes.
Nice.
But the whole concept being focused on the individual, the person themselves, and what is one of the few things that we have as individuals, physical features that we can use to define ourselves with, our colors, our clothes, sexuality, gender, all of that comes into play now, whereas beforehand it was purely marriage, marital status, things of that nature.
I see.
For both men and for women. Ownership on the man's side. How well a woman could run a house such that the man could acquire more land and stuff, and there was this power coupling.
It's like a dynamic.
Basically, a
Yeah.
dynamic. That's where the traditionalist situation comes in, of like the woman runs the inside of the house while the man expands the house. But that died
Yeah.
when the French killed all their people.
Yes.
Sorry, didn't kill. Slapped them real hard on the wrist.
Yeah, man.
There was a whole revolution, I think, and then an Assassin's Creed game about it,
And a musical.
and then a musical.
a lot of stuff.
But
A movie.
Probably the most significant event in history.
But if we start using titles back onto not land ownership, but earned titles.
That would be interesting.
you
But
know,
see, we already use earned titles when we go
for
to like,
job
doctor.
titles. Right, doctor.
But
Doctor
doctor
as well.
doesn't mean like healer. Doctor means like a doctorate, like someone who educates.
Well, there's
Yeah, so it
MDs,
goes off the-
PhDs.
yes.
So it goes off of your higher education. So you've earned that status by
Yes.
going to school.
hmm
And so it would be off of earned
Scam.
things. How a scam. That we yes, a scam. So we would have to come up, like, as a society, as a cultural norm. We could either, like most societies, build off of the bones of the previous conventions that have worked, or try and invent a whole new system in this non-binary space. this
complicated.
non-conformist space. It is complicated, but I think we can start if we use Esquire,
Yes, I agree that it sounds cool,
because
but
it does sound cool.
is it right for a professional setting when someone's boss is also CC'd in the email?
And that was the biggest problem in this email. It's the reason we didn't test it is because the boss was there.
Yeah.
But that would only make more sense. They're not the boss. They're the squire to the boss. And anyone can be the squire to a knight. You see, like, there's already hierarchy there.
Yeah.
So saying Esquire, they would just be like, yo, whoa, what is this? And you're like, oh no, she is your boss, and then this is your underling of sorts. She works for you, just how squires work for people of knightly status. And it is a earned title. They have proven themselves to be capable of working this job. Bam. And they're just like, well, what about like traditions? And you're like, traditions? This is the diversity and inclusion office, is it not?
Yes, this is about breaking
Down
tradition.
with tradition.
I mean, we do go to Tarleton. That's kind of a thing. Not saying it's a good thing. I'm not a
Is it?
I'm not a fan of
tradition one of
tradition.
our like
Yes,
goals?
yeah,
I don't
yes,
even
it
know.
is.
Yeah,
Tradition.
it is.
We can look them up
And
real
trust
quick.
me when I say
Oh.
this, it's probably my least favorite.
I think tradition is important from knowing where you came from.
I think tradition is important to the self. Like, I
Mhm.
think that personal tradition is good. I think tradition that is enforced upon other people is I'm not in favor of it. I do not like tradition if it impedes on someone else. I think that you should just.
Y'all good?
I just heard something. Heard like a squeak or
Probably the chairs.
probably
Okay.
ghost. That
more
was
ghosts?
actually, if that wasn't a person, that was a ghost.
Oh,
Point
yeah,
is
ghosts.
I think
Ghost
tradition.
watch.
I think tradition is
No.
important for like structuring your own life.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe in. I'm not a fan of tradition when it comes to someone enforcing someone else's life.
I
You
mean,
know?
that's where most of our light fiction comes from, is someone trying to enforce traditions on a young protagonist character and then breaking from the norm. All those coming of
Yeah.
age stories,
Yeah,
famously created by, what was it, Dickinson, right?
I
she
think so.
she wrote a lot of nonconformist literature and
Mhm.
poetry, and that sort of like created that mold of the artist breaking out of societal norms.
She has a TV show now.
Yes, I recently saw the thing for that. What's the deal?
She's definitely gay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's already been kind of like hinted at in like herself, the
In her
real
own
person.
writings.
But I think it's on Apple TV. She has a show.
Oh jeez.
It's specifically just I can't remember what it's called, but it's about Emily Dickinson.
Isn't it just called Dickinson? Or no. It was based on one of her famous poems.
Yes.
Right, let me look it up.
But it's basically her life and how she went through. Well, probably a bit dramatized. There's a word.
dramatization.
Yeah. Has a bit of drama in it added in.
Like
Definitely not.
exaggeration.
Yes, exaggeration
It's
from
just-
what it really was. But I thought it was really interesting when I saw the trailer. I don't have Apple TV, but I actually considered it. I was like, how am I going to get this?
So here's
Piracy.
here's the IMDb.
I'm not promoting anything illegal, but I'm just saying data should be freely distributed online, and you should choose to support people you like. That's just what I'm saying.
And that's why we have.
My SO is on right now. Hi, love.
Oh,
Supposed to be one of our viewers.
I'm not seeing anything in chat. Ah, there we go.
Yay.
As much as it held for
Parker.
review. It's called Dickinson. Ah, yes, it is. Thank you very much. Hello, Parker.
So
Yeah.
what do we find on the website?
I found the IMDb page. It is called Dickinson. It is on Apple TV Plus. Supposed to have 2 or 1 season. Cool.
If it's picked up.
More than likely is something that if
Yeah.
it's picked up. Our cast is Haley Steinfeld, Adrian Ensko, and oh jeez,
Any
Brian
names?
Shinkov,
Any names that we would like recognize?
Jane Krakowski, Toby Huss.
I'm not much of a person who knows the names of actors a lot of the times, unless they're in a lot of things that I like.
So we have a lot of
I'm
like
sorry.
family. It looks like a bit of a Okay, here's the storyline. A highly fictionalized and stylized version of the real-life aspiring writer Emily Dickinson is brought into life with a modern sense and sensibility. Embarrassed by her own parents and shunned from society, Dickinson will stop at nothing to rebel against her strict background and make her voice heard through the magic of poetry.
They realized that Sense and Sensibility was written by someone else, right?
I think it's...
I just, like, you said that as the book title, Sense and Sensibility, and that's definitely written by...
Yeah. Sensitivity is also about, like, an etiquette training course.
Oh.
Right? Isn't
well,
it?
It's about one person believing love is about how you feel, and one is... and then the other character believes that love is about being sensible and doing the right thing for your future.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds interesting. This one just being like modern sense and sensibility. Perhaps more along the lines of like, I think they're just recreating that sort of possible inner drama that was happening at the same time.
Okay.
While playing off the whole concept of like this was a person, but this is a highly fictionalized version.
Yeah. So it's interesting. We were talking about Dickinson for some reason, and I definitely lost that train.
It's very cheesy, but binge-worthy. All right.
We go back to the whole binging thing.
Yes, the binging thing. So,
shall we like...
y'all haven't been on... This is just going to be a quick little bit.
Yeah.
Y'all get one chance, because AJ got a chance to talk about it. One Christmas present that you were really excited to go.
I got a camera.
All right.
Yeah.
That's right.
From Santa.
Okay. Jake's doing air quotes, but
What?
do you want to get into Santa at all or not?
I mean, we can. I'm not sure if our age range is above that, right?
This video was... I had to click, this video is not for kids.
Okay, cool.
Also, any child who's been on the internet is like, oh, Santa is in the X-Men, he is a cryptid, he is Krampus. I'm pretty sure that, like, another source online would ruin Santa.
But there are no, like, 14-year-old children out there listening that think Santa is still real.
What was that?
Well, Santa being my significant other's parents, because I spent Christmas with them, and because he has a little brother, got me a camera, which was amazing. And it's like not the best camera, it's not the best one out there, but it's a really good starter camera that I am really excited about.
It gets you all of the options that you need to be able to go into the manual focus, learn about shutter speed, and actually practice.
Yeah.
Versus like the pocket cams that are just automatic everything, and they're awful.
Yeah. It's really cool. I'm really excited about it.
It has the ability to do detachable lenses, right? Like lens kits and such? No, it
doesn't have detachable lenses, so maybe it is automatic. I haven't played with it too much because I've been super busy, but I want to.
Your weekends are coming up.
Yeah.
You'll be able to mess around with it.
I just... classes.
Right.
You know.
It's only Wednesday.
Yeah, on Monday I felt really good about this week because I didn't have any class. And then Tuesday happened and I was like, what is... Are we already in the midterm time? What is happening?
I'm done, right? One and done? Jake,
right.
Christmas present.
Okay, I could talk about one of my albums, but that'd be boring. What I did get, though...
No, talk about something that made you happy.
All my gifts make me happy. But this is one that, like, I think has a pretty strong, like, presence because I'm hanging it up. You know when I told you about earlier, like, I think a couple months ago, I asked you what your favorite flag was, and I gave you mine. It was the Democratic People's Republic of the Congo flag. I got that flag for Christmas.
No way.
Aww.
Yeah, which is it's a very cool flag. It's my personal favorite like country flag design. I'm a little scared though because I don't know how
to fly it.
Well, not how to fly it. I'm just hanging it in my room. My thing that's kind of scary about it is I don't know if that flag represents like a super totalitarian regime or not.
You gotta
Um,
look that up, man.
I mean, I don't really care.
Well, now we're getting into the problem of like separating the art versus the artist,
I
or
can.
the symbol versus
I'm
symbol. What
I
it
can-
symbolizes.
I could tell you right now, I can very much separate art from the artist.
Mhm.
And there's that, and I don't think most people know this flag enough to be offended by it.
Well, there's not even that level. Like at that point, it's like, do you want to even look into this?
I know there's that, and also like there's the people I let into my house wouldn't be offended by it,
Yeah,
just based on the people I know.
but also if it is truly a hate crime flag,
It's not. I can
then,
assure you, it's
right?
like it'd be like worst things worth. It'd be like hanging a North Korea flag up in my room, you know, which would be weird. That would cause a lot of people to
Weird
look at
and
me.
rough.
Yeah, but like, it's not the.
Jake just really likes artwork.
I just like
Jake
flags.
just loves flag art.
No, I
It's
genuinely
Flag-
do. Like,
flags,
I'm-
album art.
yeah, I like
You're a
flags.
connoisseur.
I'm like a weirdo, like vexillologist freak. I just love
Yeah, man.
looking at flags, looking at the designs of them, looking at what this represents here, and I hate like the majority of U.S. state flags,
Yeah.
which is a super cold take for any flag fan, but they're all really boring.
Uh-huh.
Look at like you got good ones like New Mexico, Texas, California, and then you got some really bummer ones like New York's really bad, and like
Yeah.
it's all just like
I actually
I
couldn't
completely
tell
forgot
you.
that New York had like a state flag.
it's.
I
I
couldn't
don't blame
tell
you
you
because
what
it's
kind of flags.
I don't blame you. It's terrible. It's a like most of them are like a blue banner with the state seal slapped on the cover.
Like Colorado.
It's super. No, Colorado's is actually really good
It is.
because it doesn't run on that
But
format.
it has the blue.
It doesn't have like the state seal though.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
speaking of Colorado,
Yeah.
Oh.
have y'all been to the airport ever of Colorado?
Of
Not of
Colorado.
Colorado.
Okay, actually, have y'all been outside of
No.
Texas like
Yes.
regularly?
Yes, I've been outside.
All
Not
right,
regularly,
just
but
checking.
I have been outside of Texas.
So I haven't been to Colorado, but I love reading about conspiracy theorists.
Of course.
And the Colorado airport, I think it's Colorado State Airport, possibly. More importantly, there is an airport in Colorado that is wild with conspiracy
oh
theories.
boy,
I'm going to show y'all a picture.
I am excited. I'm incredibly excited.
Give me one moment to set it up. He has a name.
He has a name.
The airport has a name.
No.
Is this like a cryptid?
No, this is a real piece of art.
Oh boy,
If the keyboard would play nice.
Yeah, that
Okay.
keyboard is kind of jank. Yes, it is a very. This is gonna be good.
So this is Denver.
Is this a horse?
This is a statue.
What?
If you'll notice down here
Yeah.
is the airport
Yeah.
So what we're
for
looking
scale.
at right now is a picture of
His
huge
name is
blue horse.
Blucifer.
Blucifer.
His name is Blucifer.
Okay.
You know
Can
what?
you like maybe show that picture to the people watching?
I can
possible.
try while y'all think.
Or you can just look up Blucifer.
This
right
is the
now.
first thing you will see
Blucifer,
if you
Colorado.
drop into the Denver airport. Right out the front gates.
Why?
Looks
Okay,
cool.
you know what that reminds me of? If any of y'all have seen Frozen 2, you'll know what I'm talking about. Water Spirit. It reminds me of the Water Spirit from Frozen 2, guys.
Yeah.
Whoa.
He's
It does look kind of crazy.
he's huge. And he's all kind of
Does
messed
he actually have red eyes? Or is
yes.
that just...
And apparently,
edited?
from what I've heard, is during his creation, one of his legs fell off and did kill the sculptor.
That
What?
is incredible. That is
Did
actually
it, like,
incredible.
impale? Or...
I mean, it's a giant horse.
It's
I'm
a
pretty-
giant,
I'm
like,
pretty sure it'd be
okay.
like hitting in the
to
back
give
of the
you
head
scale,
with like a crowbar.
when they went to wrap it for something,
Oh my gosh, I
they're
didn't...
using cranes.
Whoa!
It's huge.
This is a massive horse, and it's blue
It's blue with red eyes.
with red eyes.
Red eyes that glow at night.
That's
It has like more veins on it than would be necessary.
This is...
For
I
a
can see why
standard-
it's
like,
named after
it's-
Lucifer.
Look at that bad boy. He's got some weird veining, so it maybe doesn't have hair.
Who
Because if you can see it,
made this horse?
a legend. A legend who's in heaven. Probably. I hope
Why
so.
did they put this horse right out of the airport?
Why not?
But why would
It's
you want your
cool.
tourists seeing this demon
Yeah.
horse?
32-foot sculpture of a seemingly bloodthirsty bronco is the work of artist Luis Jimenez, completed as public art for the airport installed in 2008. It represents the spirit of the old American West.
That's whack, yo.
Bloodthirsty?
Look at it, dude.
The blue Mustang.
Yeah, I know.
It is a
but
fiberglass sculpture of a Mustang. It is called Blucifer because it is colored bright blue with illuminated glowing red eyes. It is notable both for its striking appearance and for having killed its creator with a section of it fell on him at his studio.
That is amazing. That is incredible.
I cannot believe that.
That's art installation
God.
1 at Denver Airport.
Oh, is there more?
There were more,
Oh.
and they have been taken down
Hmm.
because they showed some crazy depictions of, like, I don't really know, because anyone who took pictures of them was kind of like shuffled away and told to like move along.
What?
I've heard only rumors about those. I've never been to the airport myself. I was just like recently listening to a podcast that is just sort of like a trivia podcast about information.
Just takes a trip to Denver to see Lucifer. Oh my gosh.
Apparently all of those artworks have been taken down, but they were like strange depictions of I don't know what, there was no idolatry that was obvious on them, but it used a lot of very close symbols to totalitarian regimes or to depictions of war that were like children were involved. No violence, but just like showing oppression. This is for like an airport opening.
That's
Why?
And then there's the fact that Denver, Colorado's airport is massive, but it only has a couple of runways. Like, it's a giant flat area of land. And I could understand for, like, taxiing reasons, you won't, like, pop off to the grass or, like, run around. I don't know if you can go on the grass with a plane because they're really heavy. But more importantly, like they have space because it's
Yeah.
all mountainous region.
Yeah.
that's why they keep
So
all
they
the
were
roads
like-
scold.
So we don't know what's underneath it. Apparently, there's tunnels,
Oh, this is good.
right? Like, the conspiracy runs deep on that
So-
bad boy. Like,
No
it
more
goes
Texans
deep,
go to Colorado.
right?
You know, Texans have just like flocked to Colorado. I wonder why.
Yeah. I wonder. It has something to do. Yeah, something with
Uh-huh.
Colorado.
Yeah.
I think we all know why.
I'm just gonna
Yeah,
say
probably.
Bic sales are down here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Do y'all want to talk about the nicotine thing at all?
I don't know.
We all got a company email about it, or as a reminder.
company.
Well, we're student workers, all of us
Yes.
here, and so we
did
get
a
like
company email.
we get newsletters every Tuesday that is just like a reminder in what's happened recently. And so we got an official announcement. I only remembered it because I had to check my student email and my worker email,
Yeah.
and it was just like,
They
oh,
sent it to
gee, they're
both.
just like blowing me up over here. I get it.
Yeah.
I can't have tobacco products on campus.
Yeah, no vaping, no tobacco products
Mhm.
at all allowed on campus. And that was first initiated by A&M, at least in the A&M system.
Yeah.
Like
And then all
then the
A&M systems, all
auxiliary
11,
ones.
I think it's 11 campuses now that are totally not, are completely conforming to the rules.
Nicotine free.
I want to talk more so on the side of like, did we even have a choice
Did we have a choice in them banning it?
in them banning it?
No,
No.
of course not.
Because we're
Any-
just a shadow of A&M, right?
Yeah, I mean, regardless of the reason for being banned, none of us have a real choice whenever something gets banned. You know, like, it's always like, because we live in a representative democracy,
Mm-hmm.
so anytime a politician bans something, it's not us who gets to choose, hey, I want this thing banned. It's always the representative, which I'm not educated enough to know whether or not a representative republic or a democracy is the right way to go about it. But I do know I didn't vote for the president of the A&M system,
Mhm.
nor did I vote for Tarleton. So I had,
Mm.
regardless, no say at all in whether or not we should ban tobacco. I personally don't care about like cigarettes or cigars. I have a personal I'm personally not in favor of vaporizers because I know a lot of people who use vaporizers as a means to kick addiction,
Mm-hmm.
and I they all tell me that it works way better than like gum or patch.
Because they can slowly level it
Yes.
down if they're
Yes.
comfortable.
So that's why I'm not in favor of vaping, because I understand that it's a lot healthier than putting all the chemicals that are in cigarettes in your lungs. It's not healthy. You're still putting stuff in your lungs, but it's healthier, and I think it's a good way for people to get off of nicotine. And yeah, I think that banning vaping is. I personally think it was a misstep.
Mm.
So that's my my take on the situation.
Well, here's the thing. There are a lot of people who are I was going to say immune compromised, but that's not where I'm going. A lot of people will vape in class.
Mm-hmm.
That's a thing that will happen.
That shouldn't
and
happen.
That should not happen whatsoever, but people think because vaping isn't smoking that you can just do it anywhere, and that's not the case.
Well, then should we implement a similar rule, like no cigarette? Like nobody, just because people are vaping in class doesn't mean anyone is sitting in the back like sitting there with like a full-on cigarette long john.
I think that in the case of like regulation or restricting of like smoking, there
Mhm.
needs to be more nuance to it than just
total ban.
total ban. I
think it's also the fact that people will complain that they don't have a choice in taking what other people are smoking
Yeah.
with the whole second hand thing, because people
Yeah.
will just
Mhm.
vape wherever. We've kind of gotten to the point where smoking has individualized areas, but vaping just didn't have that before.
Well, then vaping should just be tacked into the smoking areas at minimum instead of a total. But that's the thing, is we've even removed smoking zones.
yeah.
Those are completely out.
Which I'm personally not in favor of. I think there's areas where there shouldn't be smoking zones, like that sort of crosswalk area between
Mhm.
like the library and the Fine Arts Center.
Yeah.
Like that was a smoking zone, and I don't think that should be, because that's like
It's high
traffic.
traffic.
it's
yeah.
high traffic. That shouldn't be a smoking area. I still think there should be smoking zones, but they should be like kind of out of the way.
The low traffic areas.
Yes, like
That makes sense.
you know,
you shouldn't have to go, not that you shouldn't have to go out of your way to like go curb your addiction or
Yeah.
to like to curb your craving, but you should definitely not have to like leave
yeah.
the vicinity for a good mile and a half.
Mhm. And that's another thing, like a reason why I'm not a fan of like the whole vaping and the whole like banning that entirely. I understand like there could be health risks to it, but I don't like a flat ban on like tobacco nicotine products, just because an addiction is a disease, and some people cannot handle some people just cannot handle cold turkey,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And I think that's to just flat out like nowhere on campus. I personally think that's unfair.
Now, I did notice in that email there was attached a segment that talked about going to counseling for solutions to fix this. And if it is a nicotine thing, I'm pretty sure that there is nobody who's, excuse me, there is no one who's going to, this was like a personal thing for me just because
Yeah.
I have a bunch of friends who were like, dude, I'm going to have to like either sneak my Juul or swap to spitless chew just to get my fix. And I was like, nicotine gum. And they were like, oh, you're right. Because
Mhm.
apparently it works just enough for like while you're in class and stuff.
Yeah.
To just like slam some gum, and then when you're out, once you get to the parking lot, you're
And
kind of
nicotine gums is safe.
Yeah.
They haven't banned that.
Yeah.
If they ban that, I'm gonna have a serious
Well,
problem.
they said tobacco products, not nicotine products,
But
which is my big thing with the vaping.
Why? Yeah, because vaping isn't tobacco. That's
exactly.
just water vapor flavoring nicotine.
Well,
like-
there's a couple more things, but yes,
Yeah, it's
it's not. There is no tobacco
yeah.
in a Juul pod or in whatever. It's actually there's a lot of nicotine, which is really the whole reason you're sucked in on it, is the nicotine and the menthol.
Yeah.
And so coming from like both sides of my family were heavy smokers.
Yeah.
On like all of my grandparents, I have like a personal affliction of like I'm not gonna do this, but also seeing them and doing like they will casually just be smoking constantly, and it's like they're still getting everything done, they're functioning as a person.
Yeah.
They just have this fix.
Which that itself goes into like a deeper issue of like drug banning regulation
Mhm.
and like what's the word I'm thinking of? Prohibition.
Prohibition.
Yes. Where I personally think that throwing junkies in prison is
That doesn't fix anything.
Yeah,
I think
I
it's
agree with
completely
that.
unethical. I'm fine with like if you're like a heroin dealer, if you have possession with the intent to sell, I'm fine throwing them in prison because
Yeah.
I've seen what heroin does to communities.
But also, like, they are trying to they're not helping
Yeah.
somebody stop
Yeah.
doing that. They're full on abusing their power
Yeah.
of having a
I don't
substance
think
that everyone
that-
craves.
I don't think that like for some drugs, I think they should be legal off the table, just legal.
Mhm.
You know, for more dangerous drugs like cocaine or heroin or methamphetamines.
We don't have to list them, but like truly
Yes.
dangerous drugs.
Like drugs that will hurt you.
Yeah.
They like people who possess them with the intent to use should have it taken away and be put into counseling, not prison.
Yeah.
You
I
know.
agree with that. I mean, especially if you look at, we do have a lot of overcrowding problems for prisons.
Yeah.
And
No,
you
it's
just look at
because
the
of the drug
statistics.
wars.
Yeah, if you
it's
if you just
entirely
look
because
at
of drug wars.
the violence is probably from drug wars and just
Well,
the people who
The war on
have
drugs was
And
a
then
mistake.
there's the cycle
Have
of
them.
violence within the home that happens.
yeah.
I've seen that many a times.
So if we switched up, and
Move on to counseling.
did
Like-
what Jake was talking
yeah.
about,
In which like if we don't criminalize like drugs, that means like less money to cartels, you know,
Mhm.
less money to criminals.
Yeah,
they'll
actually,
try up on themselves.
interesting thing that during the legalization period of marijuana in Colorado and just recently there was
Illinois.
Illinois.
Yeah,
Was
Illinois
that
was the most
recent
recent
one?
one. Yes.
The biggest pushbacks whenever you talked to the underground community, the people who were actual legitimized dealers who were either caught or dealing with sentences, they're like, don't legalize it.
Yeah,
And
because
and
they're going to
everyone
lose their
asked them,
profit.
and they're like, why if you're a criminal, why would you want it? And they're like, because then we have to pay taxes on it, and we're not going to make as much money.
Yeah, there's there's taxes. It's gonna be in general
You can
cheaper.
get it everywhere now. How am I going to keep a client list?
Here's the thing. Here's the thing when it comes to like drugs and like having marijuana. Someone breaks into your house and they steal your pot and just your pot, you cannot go to the police.
Yeah.
Cuz like, oh yeah, they stole my pot. Like, how am I supposed to protect that? They steal your liquor, you can probably go to the police and report that and they'll
Mhm.
like take care of it cuz liquor is legal. But can't do that with marijuana. And what this does, this kind of like disattachment to the actual system, what it does is it harbors violence, because if the police aren't going to enforce like your dealings, you
Yeah.
have to do it yourself.
Yeah.
And that results in like gangs and violence.
Yep.
And it's dangerous.
A very classic example is the mafia back in the
Yes.
50s and 60s.
with prohibition,
with
and
original prohibition.
with like moonshine.
Yes.
Yes.
Not even moonshine though. When we ran to whiskey and rum runners over
Yes.
the Great Lakes, lake runners, they had organized crime to such a high degree that they would their cash flow operation was so powerful that they
had
they
the
had
mayor
to
of
fix-
Chicago.
hold on.
Yes.
They had to fix all of the crime in Vegas so that people would go to the casinos in Vegas to spend enough money so that they could wash their cash using those hotels,
yes.
all of the like high-level international mobsters. Because their operation was so big, the instant you made alcohol, they used an amendment for it. The instant they wrote that new amendment that was like, all right, alcohol is fully good to use. Everyone's back onto a wet country.
Yeah.
Everything in Vegas shut down. All of the mobs were immediately dissolved because they had nothing that people wanted anymore.
That's what will happen with
It
like
almost
marijuana
entirely
dealers.
decriminalized the industry. There is no more violence around associated with alcohol
because it's just
that is
legal.
only the abuse side of it,
Yeah.
which is the alcoholism and the self-destructive
Which
nature.
that's
That's a whole nother
that's
side of it.
another thing entirely. That has nothing to do with prohibition.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to drink, you're going to drink. If you're going to smoke, you're going to smoke.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
And so going back into the cigarettes
the
thing
crime
and this
against
vaping
society?
thing,
Mm-hmm.
what now?
I was just gonna say it's the crime against society that's the issue, is the violence and what happens.
Yeah. I mean, that's
to
like
the people around you.
Yeah.
You can choose to be self-destructive, but you can't do it against society.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
and it's also a matter of I'm an adult and I drink. I can control how much I drink. You know, I'm not an alcoholic. I know people who are, but like I'm able to control myself when drinking. And if marijuana was legal, I could control my how much I smoke because
Mhm.
it's not addictive.
And
Right.
if there were
You know?
people out there,
And even if-
counselor systems set up, you would, if you did have a problem, you could just go there.
Yeah, without
Yeah.
being criminalized or even like the social stigmas
Yeah.
Yeah.
attached to going to look for aid. That's a
Mhm.
whole nother thing as well that we'd have to get through because to be honest, capitalism is a complete sham and it's all a trust-based game. There was a film that came out a while ago. No. The Tesla truck.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all remember the Tesla truck?
Yes.
Vaguely.
The ugly truck that they broke the window on?
Oh, you mean like the
You're good?
Yeah. The truck.
yeah,
that
I know
they
the
broke
the
windows.
little blocky looking car.
Yes.
Yes.
The Roblox truck.
Yes.
So Tesla lost, I think it was, I don't know the numbers because I don't want to get it messed up, but they lost a
significant amount of stock.
hundreds of thousands of dollars in stocks
Yeah.
because the trust people had in them deflated so quickly. It immediately had a shattering moment for me of finances are all a trust game. It is based on nothing.
Yeah, of course.
As
All based
such,
on perception.
it's entirely based on all the people with money's perception, which means that we have to almost sell to them that it's okay to finance a health center for people to go get better.
Yeah.
And so now we're getting into the marketing of it's okay to go ask for help. Nobody who's truly insecure is going to want to hear that and then
Yeah.
fund that. So now we've hit a whole nother level of problems of we're fighting all of society again just to allow people to kick a habit.
I mean, it's just, I feel like addressing mental health and this stigma of asking for help would address a lot of problems,
Right.
not only in drugs and drug violence, but also if you take, I'm going to go with it, school shootings. I would say a lot of those aren't necessarily their access to weapons,
I think it's their
But
access to
their-
I think it's
their mental state.
I think it's a lot of it has to do with their access to certain drugs, actually. I know this contradicts what I was saying previously, but a lot of pharmaceutical opiates, which I don't have a lot of experience. I've talked with a couple people who are on them. They, for the most
And
part,
that goes to the
Yeah,
healthcare
awful.
system's problem,
Yeah.
where physicians are now reliant on medication and not actually trying to fix the problem.
oh yeah, which
Well, y'all are familiar with the recertification exams, yes?
no,
No.
explain it to me.
I don't want to name names because
Okay.
there's legal bindings behind some of these things that I've been told. But there are certain physicians or groups of people who can get you have to take certifications and stay up to date with medical
Mhm.
law. Otherwise, you can be sued for malpractice at any
Yes.
point because bloodletting's illegal and leeches are kind of coming back, but that's experimental. The point being, you can take recertification exams through certain companies now. They will fund for your exam. As such, they're the ones proctoring and giving examinations, and so you could go to, say, Bayer or to CVS and take an exam, a recertification exam to be a technician or a pharmacist.
Yes.
So why wouldn't they, and this is complete speculation at this point, but you know what I mean? Why wouldn't they give
Use that
their
level
own
of
product?
influence.
No, not even that. It's even more subtle than that. Just a clever marketing tactic would be give your own product as a solution. A brand loyalty among
Mhm.
doctors, among a
Oh yeah.
whole field that is scientifically backed but completely trust oriented as a practice.
I mean, if you if you
1-star
wanna take
review for a doctor, they're dead. So
Yeah.
it's more dangerous than Uber because they make one mistake and it's all over.
I feel like you can see what you're talking about even more if you go to veterinarians, because veterinarians are sponsored by dog food companies
Right.
and stuff like that. So, and Purina, at least for dogs and cats, is pretty terrible for them. They use all the cheapest ingredients and everything, but they fund veterinarians going to school, or they fund their
Right.
actual office if a veterinarian wants to be private instead of going to like a PetSmart or
A
something.
contract.
So they push that food
Right.
onto their clients
As
saying,
the only not
that's
as
the
the only solution, but as like, this'll do it.
yeah,
And they haven't been taught
uh,
anything else.
sign this bill and you'll get your food, and
Bada bing.
there you go.
Easy money.
Yeah.
So like we've seen that in the medical industry, that it is almost plagued with favoritisms
Oh yeah.
by corporation. It's like it's all a sell. It is all a sell. It's
Consumer
it's
universe.
Slights on slights.
I feel like we just see that more. I don't know if it's gotten to be worse now, or we just see it more now because of how open we are with the internet
I'd
and
say
research.
we see it less because you have to learn, because like on the marketing side, you have to learn to be covert about it.
Mm.
Because like when we were talking about this earlier, trying to schedule a bunch of social media posts about
Right.
the shows that we have upcoming and all of our new shows that we're working on,
Right.
our new stuff in the new series and such coming later in the year. Secret announcement. There, done.
Yeah.
We were
Specifically
talking
podcast
specifically podcast and YouTube,
and YouTube.
maybe.
Yeah.
We didn't ha-
Hopefully.
We didn't actually have that talk today. We'll have to have a production meeting tomorrow. But we are moving into sort of this era where we can just double check everything. We can just fact check on the spot. And so marketing has had to get clever, whereas before the consumerism was rampant. Like TV dinners were metal containers in metal containers. Toys were tin with lead paint on them, or even tin chips are so bad for you. And you could just like throw those at children and market them. Matchbox toys, literally toys that fit inside of matchboxes, and you just like give your kids Matchbox cars. And it's like that's a whole piece. That's like a metal die-cast toy that was stamped out, and like it was such a gross overuse of material. And so like the consumerism at that level was something of like a raw nature of like we just realized we could use infinite resources, and we just assumed that there's infinite number of them. And that moved its way on into the 70s and into the 80s whenever our parents were growing up. Our parents actually, like our age demographics, parental generation, discovered a fish that was floating its way under South America. Like in that South America, the what is it? The tip of fire to Antarctic border,
Mhm.
that ocean right there, has a fish that's naturally occurring in it, and it's delicious, and it's about this big. For anyone, because everyone can't see, I've made a circle that's about
About 3 foot
3 foot
in
wide.
diameter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's about 3 foot wide. It's huge. It's delicious. Turns out that fish only reproduces once in its lifetime, and it lives to be about 100 years old.
That's not enough.
So they ate almost all of it before they even realized how fast they were consuming it. The fishing industry is an awful disgrace.
oh yeah. I
la-
don't even want to
Couple of
talk about
two generations ago, you had the ability to walk. Canada is the land of the islands.
it. Mhm.
It has so many waterways through it that fishing is just like a natural thing
Yeah.
that they
Yeah.
do over there. You could. It was a joke, but could possibly have happened. You could have walked across the Chesapeake Bay on the amount of cod that flew through there. As of today, there were 4 cod spotted since last year.
Whoa.
4 individual fish were found. Only one of them was on video test. They fished so many. They ate them all. Cod is only used for like fish sticks. No one eats cod like on like
No.
locals would eat cod on the regular, but like you can't like refrigeration wasn't that good in the day, so they had to freeze it. You know, you couldn't keep something fresh and send it
Right.
across the country. So we ate so many fish sticks that we killed all of Canada's cod fishing industry. The level of consumerism was awful and rampant, and now we have the numbers to back that up, so we realize we need to slow down. And I believe we've realized it the best, but marketers still have to find a way to covertly tap into that, like the metal straws thing that happened 2 years ago, or
Mhm.
2 years ago, or
Yeah.
last year.
Metal, silicone.
Yeah, the metal and silicone sort of new age,
Hippie straws.
the hippie straws, but also the level
have
of like
some.
Mhm.
eco-consumerism. And it's like, oh, it's consumerism, but it's cool because it's like reusable stuff. But the whole problem with consumerism from the very beginning was you're buying more things.
Well, the whole problem with
You're
the
consuming too
metal
much.
straws is like that's a kind of a whole other story we can get into about how like corporations who are the polluters. There's
Mhm.
no debate about that. Big name corporations and big name industrial manufacturers.
Where they
they're the
generate
ones
70% or 60% of all pollution.
Yes, well, regardless, they're the ones who are causing the problem, yet they hand us the metal straws and say, you deal with it,
Right.
you know?
Parker was
So
literally
we'll use the metal
just
straws. To
having this
fight them.
argument with me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yes, he was, because I've been trying to go a little bit more eco-friendly myself because I
I'm-
want to. I feel like I, at least in my household, produces
Yes.
a lot
Mm-hmm.
of waste, and so I've been trying to find ways that will at least be more, in the long run, either recyclable or will degrade faster than plastics and that sort
Yeah.
of thing. And Parker's like, yeah, but you realize that, sure, that's good for you to do right now, but it's not gonna help really, because
It's not going to help anything
it's the big
unless
guys that are handing it over to us,
they're-
saying it's your fault when it's actually theirs.
They're
And
writing.
then-
They're
and
writing
then,
the check and turning to us.
if you want to get even farther, you look at how China has been like letting off emissions that are illegal,
Oh yeah.
like
That's a
without anyone knowing,
That's
and it's
a whole
like
nother thing.
that's a whole nother thing.
That's like now we're getting interpolitical.
It's like
eco,
yes,
socials.
and it's like even if like the big corporations go full green, which they're not going to do, even if
they will if they leave,
yes,
because then they're full green, quote unquote.
yes, but even if like the big corporations who are polluting stop polluting, we also have to worry about these hidden emissions China are letting out
Mhm.
that are
Well, it's not just China. Mexico is having.
not
a
just
similar
China, but,
situation.
like-
it's all third world production.
yes,
Africa, they have been destroying rainforest almost consistently for charcoal creation.
Yeah.
The whole charcoal industry. I believe it was South Africa and in Brazil, they had a ton of like total illegal burns all over the place because people needed to just make charcoal.
yeah,
But then people were like, "Oh, I can sell this charcoal I make," and it created this whole like sort of underground market that just decimates
mm-hmm.
wildlife at two levels. It irreparably damages forests to where they cannot perform secondary succession and reproduce their own trees, and it creates more carbon emissions in the burning of wood, and then the burning of wood again in the form of charcoal.
Yeah.
We just have to go into the ocean,
Well, I mean, like,
get in that water. But renewable fuel sources aren't here yet either.
yeah, they really aren't. Like, the best we have is I don't even think that I don't know if this is renewable, but like our best solution for getting over fossil fuels is nuclear.
Oh yeah.
It's 100% nuclear.
Interesting thing that I discovered a long time ago. There's more than a little bit of a chemistry lesson, and this will probably be our last bit as
That's
we are
fine.
at 1:12.
Mm-hmm.
Bit of a chemistry lesson. The reason that we used uranium in nuclear testing sites was because you can perform, and like uranium enrichment is because it bless you. That research funds two projects:
Power.
power, and
Boom, boom.
weapons.
Yes.
So that's why DARPA took over not specifically DARPA, Department of Weapons Development
Yes.
took over nuclear testing because it was quote unquote dangerous, only because we were one of the few countries that could like throw a nuclear reactor at people.
Yes.
Thorium,
Yes.
thorium,
Much more
has-
efficient.
Hold on. now.
Yes.
It's not only much more efficient.
It's safer.
Its radioactive decay does not turn into a form of polonium or uranium. When it breaks down, can turn into like 8 different things. Half of those kill you immediately. The other half will decay a second time. There's a thing called a radioactive decay chain.
Yes.
Because you make something that's super unstable and really big, and it wants to break apart on its own, nuclear fission style,
Mhm.
shatters into 2 smaller things. And then those are either balanced or unbalanced. And if they are balanced, great. They'll just sit there and be really hot from the explosion. Or if they're unbalanced, they're going to break again.
Yeah.
And that's where you get that whole like multiple
Yes.
like energy, a multi-stage energy release in thermonuclear. Thorium breaks down into like 2 things in its chain, and then it's stable entirely. And so it's going to generate a lot less heat, but it creates much less radioactive decay because it gets stable really quickly.
Yes.
Its half-life is exceptionally long. However, for that entire time, it is just thorium. And it's everywhere in America. The thorium pockets that are completely and fully safe to mine are all over the place. And then you enrich it after the fact. Once you've mined it. Yes, you would have to have a specialized mining thing. And once you get, like, if you get those bad boys all on one mine cart, it would be dangerous in the long term for people. So you wouldn't be able to work in that industry for very long as an individual. However, you cannot weaponize thorium to the degree that you can weaponize uranium or polonium.
Yeah, you can literally...
Uranium turns into polonium, and polonium is immediately lethal.
Yes.
That's why we did uranium testing for nuclear
or
polonium.
Polonium? All right.
Thorium, a thorium battery could be this big and charge one entire suburban block for 3 years, nonstop.
Mm-hmm.
He's gesturing about 4 feet, maybe? No, 3.5.
Probably a 4-foot tall cylinder that is 6-inch diameter. Nah, let's go like a foot in diameter.
Mm-hmm.
It would use salt as its cooling method, and then the salt would run. It would spin a rotor that is electromagnetic.
Does that also require a little bit of plutonium, like in order for it to run?
Not at all.
That's what I read online.
This is a bunch of early designs, and the math, the exact math, says you just need thorium and a specialized salt that will absorb the heat, but not the neutrons, and you're good.
All right.
And this is still in early development.
It was never funded
because you can't weaponize it.
Because you can't.
Our greed for blood caused us to totally forego one of the most efficient ways to fuel. Literally, you pull the battery out of the ground, you bury it too, because it goes nuclear, it explodes like a 6-foot hole in the ground. The site that went nuclear
after effects of that.
That's it. A 6-foot hole in the ground.
Nothing.
And then you come
as
and
far
you
as humans go.
No, unlike the flood in Japan, the
Yeah.
flood earthquake combo.
Or our boys at Pripyat.
Those meltdowns are catastrophic. Or you can distribute these explosives all over the place and just put them. You're already not allowed to go into a transformer site that is already walled off. A transformer site is more like you guys are familiar with the one right off Washington, by the car wash.
Yeah.
Just do that. A transformer site is more dangerous than a tiny thorium nuclear site because the nuclear site would be underground, covered in concrete with a seal, and you would say radioactive, and everyone is socially afraid of radioactive. You can literally be struck by lightning from the ground at those places. You could walk in between 2 poles, be wearing the wrong shoes, and be struck by 600,000 volts at 100 watts.
Sizzle.
Immediately. It's literally at the speed of light. Something we call almost instantaneous.
Yes.
The electric power plants are more dangerous than that, and that could run directly into an electric power plant. Now we've decentralized the grid. Now you're able to have a suburban area pop up anywhere on a suitable landmass that can be self-sustaining as long as it's able to bring in enough resources. Now you're not, we've slowly worked our way to be decentralized by water supplies. Because society grows in these levels.
Yeah.
Find running water.
Right.
Then plant food there. Once you're at a certain level, automation using water.
Now you can be pretty much anywhere with
transportation,
oil, yeah.
Because we use oil to get to those places and then use oil to bring it back. Nuclear and electric, I once had a bicycle. It's the one that left me the knee injury. I had a bicycle powered by an electric motor that used about 100 cells, and I would charge it in 3 hours, and it could ride me 6 miles. And the cells took up about that much space right there, which was about the size of our spin wheel for listeners and audience. That was old tech. Tesla cars. 60 miles, right, Jake? Am I close on that? Have we hit the 100-mile mark on a single charge?
I don't know. I don't keep up with I don't keep up with Tesla, so.
The point being that the battery technology is almost entirely there, such that you have almost an infinite reload. We're working on something called a sodium battery now. It's a whole nother level of technology. Sodium batteries don't explode as much, and they're able to hold 4 times the number of ions. That's per element. That's not just 4 times the number of charge. That is a factor of like 10, because each atom can hold 20 more electrons, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have a plate of sodium that is suddenly able to hold 40 times more electrons stacked on another plate, all wound up into a semiconductor that is able to just store a massive amount of electricity. Like, we're talking 10 times the amount. And then someone came up with what's called a carbon battery that is able to store 100 times more than a sodium battery. Like, we are designing batteries that will not have to be replaced like your D cells from your old square telephones anymore, that are completely rechargeable, and you only have to build the battery like twice in your lifetime. And then you just have a thorium battery that you that is like plugged in the center of town. Let's put it under the mayor's office for some, I don't know.
Make a conspiracy.
It'd be a good conspiracy. It'd be fun. And then you just power the town for 3 years. All of Stephenville could run off of that battery. Probably all of Stephenville could run off of one of those hypothetical thorium batteries for 3 years straight, excluding the campus. Just the town itself could just run constantly. And we're talking literally run constantly, because it generates constant power.
And I mean, with the campus, you just get another thorium battery. Like you said, it's literally everywhere.
Yeah. You just get another one. It's going to be a couple $100,000, because literally all you said, I have enough power to run an entire town for 3 years. If you've you could literally leave all of your lights on for 3 years. Everything could be running. It could be at maximum load for 3 years straight. Is that like hitting y'all too?
Yeah.
At the level?
No, I mean, seriously.
Literally constantly using.
But the only reason we haven't done it yet is because we can't kill people with it.
But we are going back into the patents and looking at older technology to advance forward, because we are hitting these energy crises. Otherwise, we're going to have a resource war just like Metal Gear Solid.
We are going to have a resource war. Only it might not be what we think.
Fishman.
I'm going to bet you right now it's going to be water.
Water?
Yeah, we're going to have
clean water?
Yes, clean water. We're going to have a total resource war over clean water. Just give it time.
I feel like that's a whole nother
That's a whole nother
That's a topic
episode.
for another time.
But yes, no, water, pretty much anything.
Start wrapping it up.
Nothing's infinite.
Yes.
Nothing's infinite. Nothing's infinite.
This was a very good discussion, very enlightening discussion. But my anxious self just wonders, what can I do about it?
Nothing.
Now
Nothing, because I am
Don't
not
worry
an
about
engineer.
it.
Now, as always, we have thanks. Now, as always, we have entered the existential dread part of the episode.
Well, at this point, it's just for us to be knowledgeable about these things, and that's why you listen to podcasts and the news and research stuff and then vote.
Look things up and then
Please vote, everyone.
make an
Texas primaries are coming up in 2 months, I think.
Make an educated decision about your stuff like an adult.
And vote for one of the 2 heads of the lizard that's controlling the world.
All right, Jake, thank you very much for your conspiracy. Cole, thank you very, very much for coming on, being mom. This has been Cruisin the Planet. You have been listening in to episode 8. You'll notice that we didn't have episode 7 up yet. That is my fault entirely, but it should be going out relatively soon. We hope to see y'all next week. As always, have a good one.